Hello and welcome. My name is Jevgenij Rusakov and you're watching TVP World Interview from Vilnius. Today we are talking about the human rights situation in Belarus and the fate of political prisoners in 2025. Joining us is Kanstantsin Staradubets, human rights defender at the Viasna Human Rights Centre. We will discuss the current state of repression, individual cases of political prisoners, international accountability and what can still be done to protect human rights in Belarus. Konstantin, thank you for joining us today, sir. Glad to see you in our studio.
Hello, glad to be here.
Konstantin, what was the situation with human rights in Belarus in 2025?
Well, in one word, it was grave. My colleagues described it as grave because we can still see that the government is totally focused on repression, on preserving power at any cost, and the cost is incredible. We still have a huge amount of political prisoners. Torture is nationwide. We have pervasive censorship, no political parties or civil society whatsoever. That just shows that they're not going to stop, and they're going to punish all dissidents, disloyal citizens on any critical voices with all these repressive mechanisms at their disposal.
I'm wondering now, do they still find those unloyal citizens, or are they looking among those that took part in rallies in 2020?
It's both. They're still punishing those who took to the streets nearly 6 years ago, but at the same time they have come up with new tools of repression against those who still continue to speak up against the atrocities and injustice in Belarus, mostly online. So it's a huge amount and scope of repression covering all types of citizens and groups of society.
Okay, so what is the, I cannot say exact, but what is the approximate number of political prisoners at this specific moment?
We are aware of over 1,100 political prisoners as of today. This number is not final. We are pretty sure that it is at least 15% higher, because what the authorities have been trying to do, and we have seen it as one of the trends of the past year, is to do everything they can to hide the scope of repression. As a result, we are not sure that the number that anyone can see on our website is true. It's also about how they persecute those disloyal citizens and critical voices. The designation of extremism and terrorism are so widespread that they use it against anyone who dares to speak out, speak up. Both loyal and also those from among the government, actually. We have seen cases where government representatives appear in prison and are being brutally tortured on charges of treason, of charges like...
Treason against whom? Against Lukashenko?
Yeah, against Lukashenko, conspiring with Ukrainians, for example. Ukrainian secret services are...
I've read those stories. That's terrible. And there's another story, we will mention it later. Okay, let's talk about maybe some positive things that happened in 2025. There were some major political prisoners releases, and Ales Bialiatski was amongst those political prisoners that were released in 2025. So what did he say about the conditions of imprisonment and the treatment of political prisoners in general?
Yeah, it was definitely a very happy moment and one of the key events positive events of last year for us, at least, and for the entire human rights community and the entire country, I believe. What he said actually is that he was not physically ill-treated. He said that his treatment was decent compared to other prisoners. Maybe it was because of his Nobel Prize, or because he is himself a very powerful and confident person. But what he said is that still, despite not being beaten or tortured, he was subjected to the same scope of ill treatment like many other political prisoners. That means total isolation, not being able to talk to families, the lawyer.
He was held incommunicado.
It is in a way incommunicado because he was not able to exchange letters with his wife for many months, and we didn't know what was going on with him. So yeah, it is sort of incommunicado. He had, like many other prisoners, he had to spend days in a cold penitentiary cell with wet floor and ceiling and extreme temperatures, and he had to do unpaid job, unpaid manual labor throughout his imprisonment. So in a way, it's still ill treatment and torture.
There's another terrible story that I've read on your page, and which I'd like to literally just point out, is Natalia Levaya's story. Could you please shed more light on this one in specific?
In her case, we know that she's an artist who, like many other current prisoners, dared return to Belarus despite the risks. And the risks were associated with her donations to Belarusians fighting in Ukraine. And she was arrested for donating cryptocurrency to the Kalinowski regiment in Ukraine. She had to appear in a video confession. The propaganda guys said that she will be released, actually. But instead, she was sentenced to 6 years. And while in detention, now she's pregnant and awaiting a baby. And unfortunately, that means that under Belarusian laws, she will have to stay in prison and raise her newborn child.
In prison?
In prison for 3 years. That's what the law says. And the reality is as follows. She will be separated from her child for most of the time because she will have to return to work. And she will only see her child in the evenings. So it's quite no deal for a young mother, I would imagine, and not being able to talk to her husband only during very short meetings.
Is there any chance that after she gives birth, is there any chance that her husband takes that child?
The child has to be with the mother in the first months. That's how it is. But we'll see. Yeah, it's not. Her case is quite emblematic in many things which I described. But it stands out because she's the first political prisoner who is about to give birth to a child while in prison. Maybe the government will show some humanity and release her. Probably, I don't know. We'll see.
Let's see. Let's hope. Okay, your page has an article about how citizens of Belarus were persecuted outside the country in 2025. So, could you please tell us more about this one?
Well, right. That. Kind of persecution is one of the key trends of the last year. It's a transnational repression, and Belarus is one of the infamous champions of this trend, unfortunately. The Belarusian government uses every instrument possible to trying to get hold of those who left Belarus, and that includes intimidating their families in the first place, because that's the only instrument in their hold that they can try to impact those in exile. There are in absentia trials. There are hundreds of them, and a confiscation of property which follows. That means the people are deprived of anything that belonged to them while they were in Belarus. It's also the secret services of Belarus who try to force people in exile to cooperate with them. It has become a trend. We have seen hundreds and hundreds of cases where people receive those messages from the KGB saying that you should cooperate, otherwise your family will face consequences, things like that. On top of that, we have the international search instruments, the absolutely legal instruments used against criminals, terrorists, and so on. Around 5,000 Belarusians are on the Russian wanted list. And as a result, we can see that arrests are a reality. There are so many faces to that trend that it is not easy to be a Belarusian, even if you're not in exile.
Okay, let's move to another topic, accountability. So in 2024, the UN Human Rights Council established a group of independent experts on the human rights situation in Belarus. So my question is, when it comes to accountability for human rights violations in Belarus, how can we make this accountability inevitable rather than just empty words on a paper? And this wise, is this group in UN, is it effective?
Well, yeah, thank you for stressing these empty words on paper. That's what we hear a lot, because, right, it may look like it is useless and that those structures, the UN structures, are helpless and unable to help those who suffered. Well, in a way, it is difficult to see the end, because those processes, they are a marathon. They take years and years. In order to show you how it looks, you just have to look at the examples of similar cases with Syria and Myanmar, Rwanda, former Yugoslavia. It took decades for those who committed the horrible atrocities against civilian population to stand trial. Unfortunately, this is how international criminal justice looks today. And this group of international experts is just another step towards this accountability and justice and fighting impunity. It is not the final one. It is just a group of people who try to explore the situation. They are not prosecutors, they're not judges. But what they do, they can name specific names and recommend investigators, including those working with the International Criminal Court, to actually launch a real investigation to bring those responsible to account. And this is what we expect will be the next step in this very long process.
And here's the question. Is it possible, is it any possible to bring those people to trial? Yeah, it is possible. Now that this group that we are discussing mentioned Lukashenko as the perpetrator, if an investigation is underway, and of course, it can only happen when he's not in power. Because while he's in Belarus and he is in power, it is impossible to prosecute him or to arrest him. But you never know. Things can change. Another Venezuela.
Right, yeah, probably, I don't know. But it is, yeah, there are many ifs. But our role, the role of civil society, of human rights defenders, of Viasna, and I'm proud that we play a very important role in this accountability thing, is preserving the evidence and do it in such a way that this evidence is admissible in courts, both in Belarus and outside of Belarus on the international arena.
Konstantin, everything I can say is just keep up the good work.
Thank you, we will.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
And I would like to remind our viewers that our guest for today was Kanstantsin Staradubets, human rights defender at the Viasna Human Rights Centre. You're watching TVP World. Stay with us.